Hello and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So today we're taking a look at the Ogryn again. It's one of my favourite classes to play, and we've made some changes to the build. So we're going to go through all of them in the next few videos and discuss what we've changed. So let's jump straight in, shall we? As you can see, we're still using the pickaxe, and I have settled on the Kosolas pickaxe as the best one, for at least for my playstyle. Dump stat as always is defense. Everything else you want as high to 80 as you can get it. And perk wise, this isn't perfect. I'd prefer to have Maniac and Flak or Maniac and Carapace, but I'm working with what I've got. Blessings wise, there are a few different ways you can do this. I tend to pick Thrust and Slaughterer. So the reason I pick Thrust is because on this pickaxe, for it to stack up on Thrust, as you can see, so when I get in front of this, look at the buff bar and look how fast it stacks up before it even... It's just on a normal heavy attack swing, you get 3 stacks of it. It stacks up so quickly on the Carsolas. It's one of the best things to use. So with this, you're getting 60% base damage on almost every single heavy attack swing without having to compromise and hold it back for too long where you're going to take chip damage, which is why I suggest Thrust. And Slaughterer, just because you're going to be cleaving through hordes so fast, Slaughterer is the best way to stack up as much damage as you can. But if you really want to, you can change it. You can go for Head Taker and Slaughterer. Not quite as damage effective, but it is also very good for horde clearing. Or if you really want to, you can go for Confident Strikes and Slaughterer. I would only suggest using this if you are new to using the Ogryn and you need a little bit of a leg up on staying in the fight and learning how to do stuff. Otherwise, I would always say Thrust or possibly Head Taker, but Thrust, the top buff. So that's that, and now we're going to look at the kickback. As you can see, it's generally the same one I use. At the moment, I'm using Blaze Away and Surgical with Flak and Infested, but there are a few ways you can fiddle around with this. Also, the dump stat is ranged because the kickback actually has unlimited range at this point, which they will probably fix because it's too fun. If you want to, you can change to Full Bore and Terrifying Barrage, or Full Bore and Surgical, or Blaze Away and Surgical. They're all pretty good ways of building it, and for the perks, I would always say Black and Maniac is pretty much the best way to go. But if you want to, of course, you can change it out to using a Ripper. I'm using Fire Frenzy and Inspiring Barrage. I just find the Rippers don't seem to... They don't feel like they're doing much damage. Or if you really want to, you can use the Grenade Gauntlet. It's basically like having the big friendly rock, but in gun form. And with this, I've got Maniac and Flak perks, along with Glory Hunter and Pinpoint Target. The only 100% necessary thing on this weapon is pinpointing target. That is what makes this weapon. Everything else can be changed to your preferences, but that is the one hard and fast blessing that needs to be on it. And if you really want to, you can use a twin-linked heavy stubber, but I wouldn't advise it with the melee build. You're not going to be having the gun out enough. The gun's going to come out for when you need to snipe a special, and that's it. I really wouldn't suggest using a heavy stubber on this. But you can also use the Rumbler. And the Rumbler, I prefer to have it like this. Adhesive charge, your grenades stick to an Ogryn and monstrosities, plus 15% damage versus Ogryns and monstrosities. Basically turns it into a slightly less powerful crack grenade. And then Shattering Impact is good for firing off into the face of anything with armor on. Right, so that's the ranged weapons. Let's have a look at the curios. You're going to notice something here. They all look the same. That's because they are. I'm running 3 max health curios with toughness, regeneration speed, damage resistance gunners, and max health. This means we're going to be running at about plus 78% health, which equals out to 510. I prefer this over toughness because I find the toughness gets stripped off of you so quickly that you're going to be taking an incredible amount of chip damage if people are not watching out for gunners. We can farm back toughness pretty quickly, but the health is there to stop us from getting dropped. Because the toughness it spikes up and down so much, and the toughness actually suffers from diminishing returns the more you stack it. So does health, but toughness suffers a lot more than it. So that's my reasoning behind using all 3 max health. If you want to, you can use all 3 toughness, the exact same way as this, just change out the health for toughness. And you're pretty much good to go. The toughness generation speed is massively useful because we're going to combine that with basically all of our talent points, which help us regen back toughness. So let's jump into the build. As you can see up here, it's pretty standard. We're going for Furious for each enemy you hit during the same heavy melee attack, getting 2.5% damage on your next melee attack. And then the best defense, replenish 20% toughness after hitting multiple enemies with a single heavy melee attack. This is also really great because we're pairing this up with the Cast Solus, which is a massive horde clear weapon. But it also has secret movesets to deal with armor, and I'll show you those in a moment. And then we're grabbing the toughness boost here because we want that increased toughness. So we're grabbing Smash 'em, replenish 20% toughness on hitting a single enemy with a heavy melee attack. I will also show you how to do that. Heavyweight, one of the best talents, 30% increased damage against Bulwarks, Crushers, Plague Ogryns, and Reapers. Also receive 30% damage reduction against the same. Linchpin, toughness replenished while incoherency is increased by 50%. Toughness boost here. And the Frag Bomb. This is your get out of jail free grenade. If things are getting hairy, drop it and it will clear that wave. It does reduce damage to Crushers, but we have other ways of dealing with them. And especially if you've wiped out the horde and it's only Crushers left, that's a lot better to deal with. Then next up, we're taking Soften Them Up. Enemies damaged by you take 15% more damage for 5 seconds. This is going to help us with us layering on damage buffs. Toughness damage reduction here. Indomitable, Stomping Boots, and Trample. For each enemy hit by Bull Rush, you gain a stack of Trample. Trample increases base damage by 2% for 8 seconds. Max stacks 25. We run through a horde and we get 50% increased damage for 8 seconds. I would always suggest Trample now over Pulverize. And then we're coming down here into Batter. Inflict 4 stacks of bleed on heavy melee hit. Every single one of our swings is going to be a heavy hit unless something's gone wrong. Bonebreaker's Aura, 10% increased heavy melee attack damage for everyone. This node here is also melee heavy attack damage. More melee damage here, and then we're going to go across to the right here for the toughness boost. The toughness damage reduction, which is what we want here and here. So that's going to give us 20% in all. And then in the middle here, we're going to grab Get Stuck In, which will give us movement speed every time we use Indomitable. And then Bruiser, 5% combat ability cooldown reduction when you're an ally in coherency kill an elite enemy. It's just going to mean we can use Indomitable more. And then back over here to the left, Delight in Destruction, 10% damage resistance per bleeding enemy in melee range, stacks 6 times. Everything we hit's going to have bleed on it. Dominate, plus 10% rending for 10 seconds on elite kill. 10% rending equals up to about another 10% damage on everything, so that's good. Implacable, 15% damage reduction while charging a melee attack. Heavy melee damage boost. Heavy Hitter, 5% damage for 7.5%, 7 seconds on heavy attack. Stacks 5 times. So that's 25% increased damage. While Heavy Hitter is at 5 stacks, gain 10% attack speed. And Unstoppable, while Heavy Hitter is at 5 stacks, toughness replenishment from melee kills is increased by 100%. We're not taking Brutish Momentum because we don't really need it. It's a bit of a crutch. So, I was talking about the Horde Clear and the different attacks. Basically, what you want to be doing is just laying in with heavy attacks, dodging around, so you're not staying in one place too long. And generally, this is what you're going to do. Even if it's a mixed horde with rages, the damage you do is basically going to waste everything. The only time you're going to have to switch out is possibly with Maulers and with Crushers and Bulwarks. So, let's talk the special hidden moves inside this pickaxe. You get 10% increased damage and 10% increased attack speed for either doing this, which is the block, push, attack, block, push, block, push, and it's not doing it for some reason. Don't I look the idiot? And and then there's the hook and overhead. So with the block push, it's supposed to do the same thing, but it's not doing it for some reason. But as you can see, your biggest plus with this weapon is that you can hook a heavy, stagger them, and the next attack is an extremely powerful overhead strike. So it's hook, heavy attack, light attack. Hook, heavy attack, light attack. And that is your armor breaking combo. You hook them to stagger them. Not only do you get increased damage for doing it, you get increased attack speed, it staggers them, and you get 2 downward strikes straight to the weak spot. And I'm not sure why. The push block is not working. Oh, there you go. It's being weird for some reason. So let's try that again. There we go. I don't know why it was being awful, but there you go. That's how you activate both of them. Push block. And it works again. I don't know why it wasn't working. It is now. So yeah, that is how you get the very powerful armor breaking attacks on the Carsolus, which is advertised as just a horde clear weapon, but it is in fact an amazing weapon for dealing with armor, sorry. As you can see, the downward strike is incredibly powerful, and you can hold it long enough to grab all 3 stacks of thrust.
Even now, the wheel.
Shut up, Stephanie. I absolutely love this weapon. It's great. I've tested the Brax and the Bovorian, or Bovine as I like to call it, and I just find this weapon has the much nicer attack speed and the attack patterns. The only reason I don't like the Brax, which is basically the mirror opposite to this, which is all attacks are downward strikes and the special attacks are sweeps. The reason I don't like it is because the special is nowhere near as good. That hook shot, pulling them forward, has saved me more times than I care to mention. There you go, and there's the block push attack for you. Yeah, the hook shot is so good, I wouldn't use the others now because of it. And of course the demonstration of the grenade, if things get rough, stand back and watch everything die. It's just a nice way to try and clutch. The only problem is you get one grenade and you will be fighting everyone else for them. So, you know, just watch out for that. Anyway, that's the build, folks. I really do hope you enjoy it. This is one of my favourite builds to use. It's the one I use most often on live streams if you come and catch us. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think. If you do like it, please like, subscribe, ring that little bell for notification. It really does help us out. And until the next video, take it easy. I'll see you later.